Well, hello again. I'm back once again, and you hear my cat on my lap right now getting pissed because I'm talking. She's like, what are you doing? You're supposed to be petting me. Yeah, see, she's pissed. I don't care, though. It's time to show you some more cables. I'm picking up right from where I left off. Dig into the rest of the bottom of this box here. So, let's just do what we were doing last time. Start pulling and see what we get. I think, come on. The cables from last time in the other box were surprisingly not as tangled as I've seen cables get. Okay, so here we got another Macintosh Serial cable. This is a Belkin one. Significantly less cheap feeling, more substantial in the connector ends there. So it looks like on top here we've got some kind of audio cable. This white cable is. It is a length of, actually that's component cable, I think. It's got the same at both ends. We got a green, a blue, and a red. So yeah, that's component cable. Monster cable, no less. Heavily marked up monster cable. That's what it typically is. But it's free monster cable, so I'll take it. Shut up. We've got just some speaker cable here. It's kind of thick too. That's probably 12 gauge. Along those lines, looks like we got some more speaker cable that was spliced into some other cable. Yeah, they took more of that gold cable, they spliced it into this black cable, which could be speaker wire, could be electrical wire, and then spliced it again into this brown wire. So what the hell? They were really about reusing their wire. Next we have a big old bundle of audio cable. Just standard RCA left and right on both ends. That's a very, very long audio cable, Jesus. Some more audio cable. Slightly different. This is Radio Shack cable. You can see on plug there. It's upside down, but you can see that. Again, substantially long, not as long as the other one. So what the hell were they hooking up that was so frickin' far away? Here we go. Here is some monster coaxial cable. Shut up. Go somewhere else. And yeah, it could be subwoofer cable also. I don't know why she cares tonight that I'm talking into this thing. She didn't care last night. Okay, so here's the rest of that disc drawer thing. Let's pick up a stack of CDs here, see what we got. We got Logitech Quick Cam Express, Avery Design Pro Media Edition. Got some more of that. Webster's New World Dictionary and Thesaurus. Hoyle Card Games. Click and Design 3D for CD Stumper. Remember that? When you could make your own CD labels and print them on your printer? When people cared about that stuff? Now people don't even make CDs anymore. Man, I feel old. Anyway, we got a manual here for Kodak Instamatic camera. How old is this thing? See if there's a copyright date on the back. Eastman Kodak Company. Yeah. I mean, there's a part number, so that could presumably be looked up and find out how old that thing is. But just by judging, or just judging by the camera that's pictured on the front, that is old indeed. Kind of interesting. I kind of like old manuals like that. It's kind of like a window into that particular time period. But yeah, I just found a whole buttload of those art discs. 17, 18, 19. What? Bill's Trips. Okay, that's custom-made thing, I can tell. I don't know if you can tell on the camera, but that's a printed label that was stuck on, probably with that CD stomper software. I have no idea what could be on that. It's like it's someone's home movies, basically. Got Adaptec Easy CD Creator, classic, standard for including with CD burners of the early 2000s. We have New York Goes to War. Is this? Look at this and see if this is. That's the back of it. Yeah, that's definitely a DVD-R, perhaps. Yeah, somebody made this and they stuck this label on it. So again, who knows, man? Gonna have to put that in something and play it. See what's on it. Oh, here's like some kind of, oh wait, no. Art Explosion 250,000. So it's still custom made. I thought maybe this was the first disc since it looked different, but it's disc 10. So by comparison, that's what they look like by themselves. And this one is also custom made, printed label. So don't know why that one's different. Here, this is something I kind of glanced at and saw in there earlier, which made me happy. This is a Commodore RF switch. So it's the cable coming out of the end. Looks like that. I think it's an RF switch. So there's a switch right there. Let me see that up close. Oh, it's the channel 3 and channel 4 switch. So channel 3, channel 4. Just in case you had a TV station in your area that broadcasts on 3, then you could switch it to 4 for less interference and vice versa. I don't know if, presumably this is automatic, or maybe it's actually computer controlled, which is what the extra pins are in that connector. I'm not sure. I never used a Commodore computer with an RF switch before. I have some Commodore 8-bit machines that this could probably connect to, or maybe this is for a Commodore PET. I'm not sure. Let's see, ooh, big old power supply here. I bet this is the source of the HP plug that I saw dangling out of the side of this earlier that I didn't mention. So, indeed it is. This is an HP power supply. I see these all the time at thrift stores. It's got one of these on it. I bet you've seen these all the time too. And they're always for printers, and they always put off a crazy amount of voltage. Let me look at this up close. Yeah, the connector right there says it puts out 32 volts on this friggin' thing at 2.5 amps. Yeah, those printers are hungry bitches. I just got demonetized. And we have a Sony power supply here. This could be useful because Sony likes to use non-standard connectors and non-standard voltages for their AC adapters. So, Sony AC adapter, it's got this plug on it, which, yes, very proprietary connection. Thank you, Sony. And it puts out DC 8.4 volts. So yeah, thank you, Sony. This probably connects to a camcorder of some sort. I don't think I The only Sony camcorder that I have the AC adapter for already. Yeah, I have that now. Oh, here we go. This is a Macintosh RGB monitor cable. Genuine Apple, too. The part number on it right there. I could use this to connect up my 2GS monitor to my 2GS, or Macintoshes actually use this too. Something wrapped up here. This looks to be probably a port for that 2E over there. Come on out of there. You're mine now, bitch. Oh, huh. Okay, that's interesting. So, it's got that on the one end, which is for plugging into like a socket on a board or perhaps on the motherboard. Now it wouldn't go on the motherboard because there's nothing to plug into it. Well, maybe. No, there is a socket for like a numeric keypad, I think. So maybe this is for breaking that out to a port that would go on the back. Weird. We've got a cable that's still in the wrap here. It says it's an Apple II, 2 Plus, and 2E to Image Writer 1. So basically that means it is just a 25-pin male-to-male cable, straight through, nothing special about it. Because I have an Image Writer 1 printer, and I know that that's what it takes. Okay, what are this? This big old tangle of stuff is all one thing. Ooh, jeez. Thing tried to kill me. So we have a DIN 5 to 25 pin. What the heck could this hook up to? I'm not sure. I'm trying to think of the number. I'm thinking maybe it would hook up to a Commodore 64, but Commodore 64 port plugs have more pins than that. We have another SCSI cable. Ooh, okay, this is good. This is good stuff here. This, I'm pretty sure, is a duo disc cable. And indeed, it has genuine Apple logo on it right there, including the part number. The duo disc was dual floppy drive for the Apple IIe. I have a duo disc already, along with the cable. What made it interesting is that you can see that these are not the same connector on both ends. And I'm pretty sure this is 25 pin, but this might be like 19 pin or something like that. So I'm trying to think if the duo disc had the same connector of this, the cable for it had that on both ends. So no, I was going to think maybe this was a profile cable, but the profile I know is 25 pins on both sides. So I am not sure. Here we go, someone wrote on it. It says disc on that side. So yeah, maybe that side was the disk drive. And this side was, well, to reach right in and shove this in your face, was to go into the computer. That does look to be the right number of pins to be for plugging in an external Apple 5.25 drive or Apple Unidisk drive into a 2E. So that could indeed be a thing. Here we have something that's becoming increasingly rare. This is for plugging a monitor into a computer to power it, not for video signal. So that end goes into the computer, and then that end goes into the back of the monitor. If you're short on ports, or you're short on outlets, then you could run the monitor off of the computer, save yourself an outlet plug. You had to be careful though, you couldn't run too big of a monitor off of the computer, because only so much could be put out through the PC power supply, and of course the PC itself has to use that power as well. Usually it'd be marked on the power supply. It'd say like just above that funky plug where this would go, it'd say like blah 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 number of watts or amps maximum. I actually used some of those for my Doom Room video, which you can also find on my channel, to run the monitors for all those computers in there. At least all the ones that I could hook up. Here we have just a non-special power cable. Here we have a bundle of several cables here. Let me unbundle it so we can go through this. I can see one of them is already Apple Original, which I like. Mostly for bragging rights, though. There's nothing special about an Apple Original cable, really. It just has that logo on it. Okay, so we have a Macintosh Serial to 25 pin. You may think that looks funny, all the pins are missing. It's actually supposed to be that way because when 25 pin is used for serial, most of the pins are actually not used. So that's literally all the pins that it needs to hook up. This could typically be used for connecting an ImageWriter 1 to a Macintosh, or to a 2GS or a 2C Plus, which all use that kind of serial connector. And so the other cable that was bundled up together there is this thing, which is just a non-special power cable. So I've got like 15 bajillion power cables at this point, and I'm only pulling more out of this box. You have another power cable. And here we have a SCSI chaining cable, so you could take multiple of those drive boxes. I'd pull one back out and show it to you, but it's buried under cables over here. The drive box is like down there. Yeah, you can kind of see the corner of it. But yeah. So if you had multiple external boxes, you could chain them together with this. And as long as they're all set to different IDs, and you don't run out of IDs in the chain, you could chain however many you could. I forget how it goes, what versions of SCSI you could chain up to like 8 devices in the chain, minus 1 for the controller card. And then the next level goes up to like 16 minus 1 for the controller card. One of those might be 8-bit SCSI, one might be 16-bit SCSI. I'm not sure. Is my microphone okay? Yeah, it's okay. Okay. And you're probably like, no, it sounds like shit, fix it. The thing that just cracked is this. It's just the top of a shoebox, looks like. Ooh, I'm seeing lots of discs down in here, yes. But first, we have a Asus VX97 motherboard manual. That looks to be, what is that? It's a Pentium. And the ubiquitous Intel PCI set, chipset, running that board. We have a manual Harpoon Challenger pack. Includes Harpoon Master Game and blah, 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 blah. And yeah, stuff. And the middle of this is lumpy for some reason. So there's like a registration card or something stuck in the middle. Oh, here we go. Macintosh loading instructions and manual revisions. I see. Some loose discs here. Hardball 2 for Macintosh. Hardball 2. Copy to Mac and Mac Tools. So I forget if that's just for copying Macintosh disks or if that's for copying PC stuff off of PC disks onto a Macintosh. Central Point Software. They previously made copying utilities for the Apple II, which have proven useful in my past. There's the driver disk for the Gravis mouse stick. Excellent. And another one. So, these different versions. This one looks newer, perhaps. This one doesn't have a version. This is 323. Okay. We have an Epson super long ribbon cartridge. I have nothing that takes this. Holy crap, man, there are so many discs down in here. This is awesome. I don't often find software like this because the sad thing is that like whenever someone donates a bunch of their computer stuff to like a Goodwill, let's say they donate one of their diskette boxes that are still full of discs. What Goodwill does is they just open up that diskette box and just dump all the discs straight into the trash. So even if there's stuff that doesn't have personal information, like say this Macintosh Disk 3 of F117A, this is obviously pre-made, so this doesn't have personal information on it, but they don't care. They just dump it out straight into the trash. So I can't even imagine how many discs have like actual genuine software discs that people could be using and reusing and preserving have just gone in the trash because Goodwill does not go through them. It's and so every time I see a diskette box in Goodwill, it makes me a little sad because it's like there was probably good stuff in there. And then you get stuff like Billy disc. That's obviously personal stuff that probably should be thrown away. Discs like this, I typically just wipe them. Don't try to pull anything off of there because, I could try and dig and, be all nosy for personal stuff, but there's really nothing for me to gain from such a thing other than, satisfaction and curiosity. But even that's not much of a draw, so I typically just wipe these and test them to see if they're still good or not. And if they've got any bad clusters on them at all, I just throw them away. Otherwise, I keep them for rewriting to use on my various computers. Let's see. Something inventory. Inventory 123105, 123106. So, yeah, that was still in active use 15 years ago. In fact, I think I'm just going to skip all the discs that look like they're personal stuff here. Or, in the case of this, pirated software. I don't keep this stuff either. I rewrite those or throw them away or whatever. I'm only interested in keeping discs that have original software on them, like this. Hard disk backup. Central Point Software. And it looks like I got 3 discs of that. Hopefully that's all of them. Now there are some stuff that's kind of a gray area as to originality. You can tell like that's been printed on there with a printer. And so it was obviously done by someone and probably sold at some point, but this is not like how this was probably originally distributed. This is probably shareware. A number of companies did this. They would fill up discs with shareware and then sell them. So that's probably what that is. We have Chuck Yeager's Air Combat, Disc 1 and Disc 2. Nice, original stuff. We have, here, interesting here, Connor Backup Exec, but for Windows in there. 1 of 2, 2 of 2. And then the DOS version, 1 of 1. I like when they put 1 of blank on these, then I know how many there's supposed to be, instead of just trying to guess at it. Ooh, here we go. Big thick manuals. We have All This Page Maker Getting Started book, not so thick. We have All This Page Maker User Manual, very thick. I wonder if PageMaker's actually in here. Like the actual discs. That would be neat, because I don't have that. You have the manual for PGA Tour Golf 2. Oh, here's the Harpoon discs, Scenario Editor, and Activity Battle Set 2. I'm not sure what that is. Maybe like an expansion disc? More floppies down here. Oh, interesting. We have Excel for the Macintosh. So, disc 4, disc 5, disc 6, disc 7. Oh, come on, please, 1 through 3 be in here somewhere. What makes this interesting to me is this is the way that Microsoft would print the labels for their Windows software at the time, too. So Windows 3.1, 95, DOS 6.22 came on discs that looked like this. But I didn't know that they actually printed their Macintosh labels the same way. 800K disc. So, as you can see from that and from the corner, these are double density, double-sided discs. That is copyright 1985 to 1992, which means 1992. And that one, more custom stuff, games. You have a disc box here. There's a few disc boxes like that in there, actually. I'm really interested to see what's in them. To see if it's like, oh boy. Come on, focus, damn it. Is this what I think it is? This could be an OS install set. Oh, this is, if it is, that's going to be cool because I don't have any of these. Install 2, install 3, disk tools, printing, fonts 2, fonts, tidbits 2, tidbits, utilities. So do not alter the contents of this disk or use it as a backup. Typically that means you boot from this if you want to just do troubleshooting on your computer rather than an OS install. And we have a QuickTime disk. So I don't know what version of the OS this is. Maybe it says on the back here. 7.1. Interesting. Very cool. This is cool. As I'm sure you know, you can get System 753 for free off of Apple's FTP if they haven't taken it down already, but not 7.1. Of course, 7.1 was just before 7.5. UMax, Astra 2100 Owner's Manual. That scanner is not in here. Calendar Creator for Macintosh. Create great looking calendars, any size, any style. Well, I doubt any size, because, you know, technically Earth is a size. Interesting. We have Microsoft Close Combat A Bridge Too Far. Box is kind of squished, but for Windows 95 and Mac OS. That's neat. Power Macintosh. So yeah, let's see what's inside this. Probably some box insides, as LGR would say. LGR, aka Lazy Game Reviews, awesome channel. Go check him out. Not sponsored. He's just cool. Inside we have CD and manual. Excellent. cramming that back in there as best as I can without molesting the box even more than it already is. Oh, I see some more Excel discs. Excellent. So there's disk 2. Disk 3. I need disk 1 now. Disk Management Mac. On-Track Computer Systems. Power User. Never heard of that. Hard Disk Toolkit Personal Edition. Power Macintosh and Macintosh. Never heard of that either. Oh, there we go. There's disk 1. Awesome. It doesn't say how many disks, but, you know, the way to find that out is to try and install it. And see what disk or see if it still asks for disks after you've put in the last one. See, Harpoon, disk number 2. So still looking for disk 1 of that. Hard disk SCSI utility. Includes System 605 and Finder 615. So this could work well on that plus over there if I wanted to attach an external SCSI hard drive to it. We have CMS SCSI disk utility. I'm starting to think there was a lot of these. So we have disk 4, 2, and please be 1. It's 1. Haha. F117A. More original software. Here we have, oh, I have one of these. A couple of them actually. Now I have another one. This is a monitor adapter for plugging in a VGA monitor to a Mac. Something different that Macs were doing at the time that PC monitors weren't, were identifying themselves to the host Macintosh computer as to what size it was, and thus which resolution it supported. And since PC monitors at the time didn't do that until they got DDC in them, I think it was called DDC, this was how you could connect a PC monitor to a Mac anyway. So you'd flip this open right here. It's got dip switches there, and tells you what to set those dip switches to for whatever monitor you have. And having these instructions printed on there is extremely helpful because I have an adapter that doesn't have it printed on there and I have no idea what to do with it. See, we have another wizardry. Bane of the Cosmic Forge. This one's for Macintosh. Minimum, Mac Plus. Minimum memory, 1 meg for black and white, 2 megs for color, and an 800K drive, optional hard disk. So presumably this could be installed. And inside, we got lots of disks. A, B, D. There's C. C's down here. And then E, F, and that's it. So, buttload of discs. Wizardry icon list. See, system requirements. Playmaster's guide. And then a cardboard spacer, because they used a box that was too big for the box insides. So yeah, very neat. I love getting original, real, old software like this. And see, the thing is, even if these discs don't work, I can find the disk images for them and write them to disks that do work. And it's now legal for me to do that because I have an original copy. So, simply by virtue of finding these old games intact like this, I can now legally play them whether the discs work or not. Opens up the library of gaming possibilities. I dig. So you got a diskette box, feels empty. It's empty. Got another one. That one's also empty. Well, damn, I saw these diskette boxes in there, and got all excited that there was going to be stuff in them. But that one's empty. And that one's empty. And that one's empty. Oh, I just noticed. RGB. We have another diskette box down in here. This probably just has blanks in it. I hope it has more. It has individually wrapped blank discs, individually wrapped to maintain freshness. Which ironically at this point may not be far from the truth. Yeah, these are looking like just brand new discs. And these are high density. I was hoping they'd be medium density. I have tons and tons of high density discs. Not a lot of medium density discs. And we have, oh, here we go. Disc 1 of Harpoon. It's the last loose disc in the box. And the final thing in this box, Pilot's Handbook for a Navy Model F-6F airplane. What? Hellcats over the Pacific, World War II flight simulator. Is a disc in here? Or something lumpy here in the middle? No, little things. So, got the manuals for this, but no discs. Damn it. Oh well. So that's it. That's the end of the boxes. That's the end of the stuff. And I'm just sliding out from underneath all the crap. I was slowly burying my knees in all those cables. So yeah, I got all of that. And holy crap. Yeah, that's a big mess. That's a buttload of stuff. And a hell of a lot of awesome for $0. Hope you enjoyed. This is the end of my haul. And now to go through all this stuff and actually wrap it up and assimilate it into my stock. Some of this may be available for sale. If you're interested in any of it and I haven't already decided to keep it, just let me know. Maybe we can work something out. So until next video, if and when that ever is, I'd like to show you some more of my stuff, and maybe I will. So see you then.